Welcome to Jarn's Recreational Sports Talk. I am your host, Jack, and today we are in a beautiful dispensary, Nurse Wellness. But let's just dive right into this. This is the very first segment ever of Jarn's Recreational Sports Talk. It's going to involve some statistics, some matchups, comparing data, stuff like that. Definitely going to be talking about some of the lines for sports books, gambling a little bit. We got the playoff pictures coming up. Chiefs and Lions are coming off of their bye weeks. First up, we got the Texans and the Chiefs on Saturday at 4:30. And since 2020, the Texans are 0-2 at Arrowhead Stadium. The last meeting of the two teams was December 21st, 2024. It was this season. It was a few weeks ago, and the Chiefs did win 27-19. Kareem Hunt and Patrick Mahomes both ran in touchdowns, and Patrick Mahomes threw 28 completions, 41 attempts for 260 yards and a passing touchdown to Worthy. The Texans during that game, CJ Stroud was 23 for 39, 244 passing yards and 23 rushing yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but unfortunately threw 2 interceptions. Joe Mixon only had 57 yards, but one of his carries was for 22 yards. So the Chiefs are doing a real good job having him backed up. The Texans still had Tank Dell. He went off. He had 98 yards. He had a receiving touchdown. Dalton Schultz hasn't done much all season. During that matchup, had 45 yards and a touchdown. And Nico Collins went 7 for 10 with 60 yards. Probably wasn't his best game. Going into this matchup on Saturday, there's a few things that I would like to point out. The Chiefs are undefeated at home, going 8-0 this season, trying to do something that no NFL team has ever done before, and that is win the Super Bowl 3 times in a row. They're going for the three-peat. They had a bunch of wins that they should have lost. Patrick Mahomes averages 240 passing yards and over 2 passing touchdowns in the last 4 matchups against the Texans since 2019. That's a long span of time and data. So in the last 2 matchups, has thrown 298 yards and under 2 passing touchdowns. I like to use BetMGM as my sports book. Chiefs are minus 500 money line. Texans are plus 375. 57% of people betting on this game bet on the Texans plus 8.5. And 85% of the public is betting on the Chiefs money line. Now, this is an interesting one. I had to put down 92% of the public is on Chiefs first half money line. And we have 82% of the public is riding on the over 41.5 points scored in the game. I am obviously going Chiefs money line straight up minus 500. I also like, for better odds, if you want to take -2 or -3 alternative spreads, I have Patrick Mahomes throwing for 225 passing yards. And with no Tank Dell, I'm going to risk Nico Collins 75 plus receiving yards. The lock, of course, is going to be the Chiefs money line. Getting into our second matchup of the day, this is Saturday at 8 p.m. The Washington Commanders are going to Detroit. Washington Commanders are 1-4 against the Lions in their last 5 matchups. Do not take that to heart, because 4 of those last 5 matchups, they were formerly known as the Redskins. It's been a while since these two teams have played, so it's going to be really cool seeing how Dan Campbell runs his offense against the Commanders and how Jaden Daniels, a rookie, first year in the NFL postseason, it's going to be really interesting to see how he maneuvers as well with his offense. For BetMGM odds, Lions are minus 550, Commanders are plus 400. 54% of the public is on Commanders plus 9.5, and I honestly don't think that's a bad bet. I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. The Commanders embarrassed us during their last matchup. Jaden Daniels came back in the final, I think, minute to win the game. He had 5 passing touchdowns against the Eagles defense. 82% of the public is on Lions money line. I think that is super low. I thought it was going to be 90% plus of the public was going to be on the Lions because of how good they played. But I can 100% see the narrative of the Commanders throwing a wrench in that. One really interesting factoid I think I found was that 99% of the public is on Lions first half money line at minus 300. Anytime there's all on one side and nobody's on the other side, I get super nervous. So I'm going to stay away from Lions first half. Only 42% of the public is on the over 55.5 total points. I think that 55.5 is super high. Detroit Lions defense is pretty good, even though they are riddled with injuries as well. I think the Detroit Lions can hold Jaden Daniels to under 24 points in the game. And another interesting one is that 91% of the public is riding on under 27.5 points in the first half. I also like that because I think that the Detroit Lions defense had a nice week-long break. They're going to show up and they're going to put, what does he say, boot to ass, belt to ass? I don't know. Let's get into it. My picks for the Commanders-Lions game. I love Detroit Lions money line, minus 500. Seems a bit scary with how the Commanders have played, but I don't think that the Lions are going to pass up on an opportunity to move forward to go to the Super Bowl. Dan Campbell has been working on this for a really long time. I also like, I think that's all I like. David Montgomery is expected to return after being injured. Sonic, Knuckles, Montgomery, Gibbs are back at it together. So I can expect them to hit the run game, try and run out the clock, and only throw the ball if they really need to. A sneaky pick that I like is the Commanders plus 14. It's an alternative spread rather than the 9.5, and that is minus 210 at BetMGM. I like Commanders plus 14.5. I think they're going to keep it close, but I just don't have the confidence in betting 9.5. I also don't have the confidence that the Commanders can win, but who knows? All right, people, that is it for today for the first segmentation of Jarn's Recreational Sports Talk with Jack, your host. We got Rams and Eagles Sunday at 3. We got Ravens and Bills Sunday at 6:30. I can't wait for Sunday. I purposely did not talk about these games. One, I didn't have enough time. Two, I really want to do a good breakdown of these two games. This Sunday is going to be a really good time. Stay tuned. I'm going to find a place to post this. I'm going to start posting more, and I hope you guys like this. I'm going to try and do some different settings. Cheers. Thank you.